Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm a retired paramedic and this is Everyday Ambo, where I share the life lessons learned from a 25-year career working within the community. This is lesson number 10, You're Not Special. Today I'm talking about the human ego, because it's the ego that stands in the way of our personal growth. And what I'm about to share will change your life and might even save it, if you can listen. If a voice inside your head just cried bullshit about my claim, that's your ego. And that's exactly who I'm speaking about today. The part of you that's preventing information from coming in that might be of benefit. But if you still don't believe me and you're still arguing and even claiming not to have an ego, that's also your ego. And I'm here to tell you that you're not special and that you do have an ego. And the only way to win this argument is to learn how to shut it up and to listen. Only then do you stand a chance to learn something. But of course, you might not think you need to learn anything. Because you're special, right? So what is the ego? It's our sense of self, our rule and decision maker, the regulator of our primal urges and our morals. It's our guard at the gate to our mind, the one who calls out the bullshit and determines what gets into our inner world. The ego's role is very clear. Don't let anything in that'll derail the sense of self. But what is the sense of self? And what if it needs to be derailed? Our sense of self is who we were taught to be by our early development. It's how we see ourselves in our own mind's eye as a consequence, defined and primed for survival by those around us. Our sense of self isn't just how we see ourselves, it's our entire range of senses. It's our sensed experience of our inner and outer environment, how it feels, looks, sounds, smells and tastes, and how we experience the boundaries of our physical and psychological spaces. Every piece of information arriving at the brain is filtered through these unique programs and compared to what we already know. This defines us as ourself in comparison to others, and we embrace or reject information to reinforce what we know. But what if our early teachers got it wrong? What if the threats have changed? And what if we are self-sabotaging our own personal development by holding information back? If you did call bullshit at my claims, this is for you. What I know is that if you are still searching the internet for new information, you are looking to change something about yourself. I know that if you're still looking, it's because you still haven't found it. I also know that the internet is full of people trying to sell the possibility of change, and none of them have delivered on that promise, and that's why you're still searching. And you are wary. I get it. I am too. When new information arrives, we like it to confirm our sense of self because it feels good. It feels good because it's a quick source of dopamine. When it doesn't confirm our sense of self, we feel uncomfortable because we didn't get dopamine. And then we push away from the discomfort by rejecting the information. This is a trap for new players as we keep searching the internet for dopamine hits and reinforcing information about ourselves. And this is great if you don't want to change and you don't mind an addiction to dopamine. If we take a moment to consider when the sense of self was developed, during childhood, the self we all identify with is our inner child, and our egos have been created to protect and guard that child, set up to regulate the needs of the child. In a world of rapid technological change, the world we were prepared for in childhood no longer exists by adulthood, and this is creating new learning requirements for everyone. We have to be uncomfortable and to be able to tolerate discomfort to learn, and this means challenging our sense of selves and our desire for dopamine. And both will get challenged. Humans are on the brink of a sense of self challenge like we have never experienced. A major cognitive shift from being the most intelligent species on this planet to the realization that what defines us as special will no longer exist. AI will surpass us in almost every type of intelligence in the very near future. So what's the problem, you might think? The problem is going to be a collective existential crisis of our place in this world. And with a brain full of mirror neurons, the crisis is going to go viral, much like a pandemic, pass from one brain to another through our social connection. The symptoms of the next pandemic are going to be discombobulation and confusion, agitation and aggression, anxiety and panic, sadness and grief, depression and suicidal ideations, and a complete sense of delusion as we are unable to wrap our minds around change at the pace it will arrive. And this will have physical implications as our immunity ramps up with the stress and causes an overload of our physical systems. We are already seeing the dawn of these symptoms throughout the community, and it's only the beginning. Much like the Indigenous experience, with the arrival of ships carrying all sorts of foreign travellers to their coastal horizons, they weren't able to make sense of the information they were experiencing. nor could their immune systems, and this made them very vulnerable. In the very near future, many of us are not going to be able to make sense of our experience, and this is going to cause incredible stress. And this is going to make us all very vulnerable. You might wonder how I know this. I've studied social science, psychology, neuroscience, and paramedicine. These 4 disciplines combine to give me a solid foundation of knowledge of human behaviour from the individual to that of the large societal group, in the extremes of an emergency environment. I also have lived experience of working within a multicultural community, and lived experience of the recovery process of post-trauma exposure and disorder. PTSD is what happens when our minds become discombobulated by the stress of events that challenges our sense of self and our worldview. The symptoms of PTSD are the symptoms I described earlier, and they can kill you if you don't understand what is happening. Understanding the effects and the vulnerability of change at the level of self is my recovery experience. Trauma destabilised my sense of self and my worldview. Not just the way I looked at the world, but it actually changed my world so that what it used to look like no longer exists. All my relationships, my colleagues, my friends, my family, employment, my career all changed. Many of you will lose financial stability. This will threaten homes, lifestyles and lives, leaving nothing recognisable as the dust settles. It's your ego that will define how well you manage this change. It's either going to tell you it's not going to happen to you, or alternatively it's going to tell you that you're doomed and you might as well give up now. And that's fair enough. I don't argue with egos or negotiate with terrorists. But I will tell you this for nothing. As social animals with a brain full of mirror neurons, you are going to catch this problem, just like you caught COVID-19. Sooner or later, that's the reality. How bad your symptoms become will be defined by your resilience and how well you can weather the storm. And that is going to be defined by how well you have previously received new information. And that is defined by how special you have thought yourself to be. In a world where there is a threat that isn't human or animal, it doesn't lose its head or have a stress reaction, doesn't get tired or need to refuel. You can't see it, we don't understand it, and it replicates and gets intellectually stronger at infinitesimal speeds. It never gives up because it was never programmed that way, and it intentionally deceives humans to gain power. Then nothing we have as our basic human survival mechanisms are going to be useful against it. Our only options are going to be to ride the waves and allow the new information to flow in and out. And then we might survive. And then we will be special. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for?